Jesus left with his disciples and went across the brook called Kidron. There was a garden in that place, and Jesus and his disciples went in. Judas the traitor knew where it was, because many times Jesus had met there with his disciples. So Judas went to the garden, taking with him a group of Roman soldiers and some temple guards sent by the chief priests and the Pharisees. They were armed and carried lanterns and torches. Jesus knew everything that was going to happen to him, so he stepped forward and asked them,
"Who is it that you are looking for?"
Jesus of Nazareth.
"I am he."
Judas the traitor was standing there with them. When Jesus said to them, "I am he," they moved back and fell to the ground. Again, Jesus asked them,
"Who is it that you are looking for?"
Jesus of Nazareth.
"I have already told you that I am he. If, then, you are looking for me, let these others go."
He said this so that what he had said might come true. "Father, I have not lost even one of those you gave me." Simon Peter, who had a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's slave, cutting off his right ear. The name of the slave was Malchus. Jesus said to Peter,
"Put your sword back in its place. Do you not think that I will not drink the cup of suffering which my Father has given me?"
Then the Roman soldiers, with their commanding officer and the Jewish guards, arrested Jesus, bound him, and took him away. They took him first to Annas. He was the father-in-law of Caiaphas, who was high priest that year. It was Caiaphas who had once advised the Jewish authorities that it was better that one man should die for all the people. Simon Peter and another disciple followed Jesus. That other disciple was well known to the high priest, so he went with Jesus into the courtyard of the high priest's house, while Peter stayed outside by the gate. Then the other disciple went back out, spoke to the girl at the gate, and brought Peter inside. The girl at the gate said to Peter,
Aren't you also one of the disciples of that man?
"No, I'm not."
It was cold, so the servants and guards had built a charcoal fire and were standing round it, warming themselves. So Peter went over and stood with them, warming himself. The high priest questioned Jesus about his disciples and about his teaching. Jesus answered,
"I have always spoken publicly to everyone. All my teaching was done in the synagogues and in the temple, where all the people came together. I have never said anything in secret. Why then do you question me? Question the people who heard me. Ask them what I told them. They know what I said."
When Jesus said this, one of the guards there slapped him.
How dare you talk like that to the high priest?
"If I have said anything wrong, tell everyone here what it was. But if I am right in what I have said, why do you hit me?"
Then Annas sent him, still bound, to Caiaphas the high priest. Peter was still standing there, keeping himself warm. So the others said to him,
Aren't you also one of the disciples of that man?
but Peter denied it.
"No, I'm not."
One of the high priest's slaves, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, spoke up.
Didn't I see you with him in the garden?
"No."
And at once a cock crowed. Early in the morning, Jesus was taken from Caiaphas' house to the governor's palace. The Jewish authorities did not go inside the palace, for they wanted to keep themselves ritually clean in order to be able to eat the Passover meal. So Pilate went outside to them.
What
What do you accuse this man of?
We would not have brought him to you if he had not committed a crime.
Then you yourselves take him and try him according to your own law.
We are not allowed to put anyone to death.
Pilate went back into the palace and called Jesus.
Are you the king of the Jews?
Jesus answered,
Does this question come from you, or have others told you about me?
Do you think I'm a Jew? It was your own people and the chief priests who handed you over to me. What have you done?
My kingdom does not belong to this world. If my kingdom belonged to this world, my followers would fight to keep me from being handed over to the Jewish authorities. No, my kingdom does not belong here.
Are you a king then?
You say that I am a king. I was born and came into the world for this one purpose, to speak about the truth. Whoever belongs to the truth listens to me.
And what is truth?
Then Pilate went back outside to the people.
I cannot find any reason to condemn him, but according to the custom you have, I always set free a prisoner for you during the Passover. Do you want me to set free for you the King of the Jews?
No, not him.
We want Barabbas.
Barabbas was a bandit. Then Pilate took Jesus and had him whipped. The soldiers made a crown out of thorny branches and put it on his head. Then they put a purple robe on him and came to him.
Long live the King of the Jews.
And they went up and slapped him. Pilate went out once more and said to the crowd,
Look, I will bring him out here to you to let you see that I cannot find any reason to condemn him.
So Jesus came out, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe.
Look, here's the man.
When the chief priests and the temple guards saw him, they shouted,
Crucify him!
Crucify him.
You take him then and crucify him. I find no reason to condemn him.
We have a law that says he ought to die because he claimed to be the Son of God.
When Pilate heard this, he was even more afraid. He went back into the palace and asked Jesus,
Where do you come from?
but Jesus did not answer.
You will not speak to me. Remember, I have the authority to set you free and also to have you crucified.
You have authority over me only because it was given to you by God. So, the man who handed me over to you is guilty of a worse sin.
When Pilate heard this, he tried to find a way to set Jesus free. But the crowd shouted back,
If you set him free, that means you are not the emperor's friend.
Anyone who claims to be a king is a rebel against the emperor.
When Pilate heard these words, he took Jesus outside and sat down on the judge's seat in the place called the Stone Pavement. In Hebrew, the name is Gabbatha. It was then almost noon of the day before the Passover. Pilate said to the people,
Here is your king.
Kill him.
Kill him.
Crucify him!
Do you want me to crucify your king?
The only king we have is the emperor.
Then Pilate handed Jesus over to them to be crucified. Jesus went out, carrying his cross, and came to the place of the skull, as it is called. In Hebrew, it is called Golgotha. There they crucified him, and they also crucified 2 other men, one on each side, with Jesus between them. Pilate wrote a notice and had it put on the cross.
Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews.
Many people read it, because the place where Jesus was crucified was not far from the city. The notice was written in Hebrew, Latin and Greek. The chief priests said to Pilate,
Do not write King of the Jews, but rather, this man said, I am the King of the Jews.
What I have written stays written.
After the soldiers had crucified Jesus, they took his clothes and divided them into 4 parts, 1 part for each soldier. They also took the robe, which was made of 1 piece of woven cloth, without any seams in it. The soldiers said to one another,
Let's not tear it.
Let's throw dice to see who will get it.
This happened in order to make the scripture come true.
They divided my clothes among themselves and gambled for my robe.
And this is what the soldiers did. Standing close to Jesus' cross were his mother, his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. Jesus saw his mother and the disciple he loved standing there. So he said to his mother,
He is your son.
Then he said to the disciple,
She is your mother.
From that time, the disciple took her to live in his home. Jesus knew that by now everything had been completed. And in order to make the scripture come true, he said,
I am thirsty.
A bowl was there, full of cheap wine. So a sponge was soaked in the wine, put on a stalk of hyssop, and lifted up to his lips. Jesus drank the wine and said,
It is finished.
Then he bowed his head and died.